Hello everyone. Today I want to talk to you all about beauty, and I believe I'm titling this video The Philosophy of Beauty, which should give you some understanding that this is about how we think about it, and how we think changes how we act. So I'm hoping in this video I'll give you some things to think about in terms of the concept of beauty and its importance in the world, and also help you be influenced in your own perspective around beauty, how you approach your own beauty, beauty in the world, beauty in your surroundings, beauty in your life. The first thing I wanted to start out with here is just reading to you a small excerpt from this book, Elizabeth Taylor, My Love Affair with Jewelry. Obviously, Elizabeth Taylor is someone I'm a big fan of. She was a remarkable person, incredibly beautiful inside and out, and she kind of had this beauty that just radiated from her. It was her spirit more than anything else, and I think that's important to remember. Through life, we change, we go through different seasons, and sometimes we look better than others. But if who we are as a person is beautiful, then nothing can be taken from us. But anyway, she's talking specifically about her jewelry collection, and obviously jewelry is a beautiful thing, but I thought that this was remarkable what she says here. Some of the pieces are newer than others, yet each one has profound meaning for me. Above all, the importance of the jewelry is emotional and psychological, and I knew that I wanted to share my collection with others so that they could get a glimpse of the joys, the thrills, and the pure happiness that these beautiful creations have given me. I hope their presence and their magic will be passed on to others, loved but not possessed. For we are all temporary custodians of beauty, and I hope that in the future others will take care of this jewelry in a sharing way, but not too soon. Unfortunately, she did pass on, I think, about 9 years after this was written. Let me read this again. We are all temporary custodians of beauty. Thinking about beauty in terms of something that we are in custody of, I think is important. It's important for our personal beauty in ourselves, and it's also important in the beauty that surrounds us, the beauty in the world, the beauty in our possessions, in our homes, in our lives. You know, if we are looking, we can see so much beauty around us, but do we appreciate it? Do we understand that it's something we've been given custody of? A lot of the times I think people don't, and they do see beauty or beautiful things as trophies. Her attitude wasn't like that, and she loved to share, the beauty not only that she had, but also the beautiful things that she came by, and in fact her jewelry. So she has many lovely stories about, wearing her jewelry, letting people touch it, put it on, and experience it. And I think too, if you have beauty, it's not just meant for you. It's meant to be something that you share and let others experience with you. One of the most important beliefs I have around beauty is that it is internal. It's something that comes from within. And people can debate this if they'd like to, but when it comes to human beings, a person may be attractive, but if they don't have any inner beauty, there's nothing that is going to keep anyone stuck to them. An attractive person can become ugly very quickly if who they are does not match what we see. So I don't think necessarily that attractiveness and beauty are the same thing. I think beauty is a quality that gives us a certain type of feeling, an exhilarating feeling that uplifts the spirit. And beautiful people tend to be those that are uplifting. And, I read you an excerpt from this book by Elizabeth Taylor. She is one of my beauty icons, somebody that I look up to in terms of thinking about beauty and what it actually means to be beautiful. Because for her, who she was as a person was beautiful. And regardless of her outward appearance, which, yes, was quite something special, it didn't really hold a candle to who her character was, who her spirit was. And that ultimately is what people will experience and will walk away with when they interact with you. So, we're not all born beauty queens, but we all can take steps to cultivate inner beauty, grace, and, refinement of who we are. We're all born wild in many ways. We're all like a garden that's overrun. And while there's a beauty in that, there's also beauty in taking the steps to cut away the sharper bits of our character and to let the more elegant things come through, clean up the mess in yourself. Let the things about you that are uplifting and inspiring be what people experience from you. And you'll be amazed at how beautiful you really are. The other thing I want to talk about, there's a few things I want to talk about today, but the other thing that is really important in beauty, in terms of how I see it, my philosophy about it, is that who we are as individuals is unique. And the more we embrace our own unique forms of beauty, the more we will benefit in the long run. A lot of people are out here chasing beauty trends, and they're taking steps to alter their appearance, actually removing the things that give their faces and bodies character. We see this with certain plastic surgery trends. Most recently, I've heard about the fox eye thing, which just looks ridiculous to me and obviously has all kinds of complications. Let me just say this, and I'm not saying this to put down anybody who has had plastic surgery, if that's what you feel you need to do, or if you just have, I've met women who've had plastic surgery and who they were inside was very beautiful. And of course their outward appearance was beautiful as well, but they had to do a lot of work, you could tell, and it was very clear that the alterations they made to themselves weren't ultimately what defined who they became. I think a lot of the times women will do things like that and not really, it won't solve the issue, and then that's when the inner work starts to come in. So I will say that as well. And also, there's something beautiful about that, as well. Sometimes, people who've had a lot of work done like that can be very beautiful. I'm thinking of the Pete Burns of the world. And he had some ugly sides as well. But I think, in terms of that, I don't want to get too hung up on that. But I want to say, don't chase trends, okay? You're not here to look like somebody else. You're here to look like you and to be the best version of yourself. It's always, always better to be the best version of yourself over being a second-rate version of somebody else. You don't change your appearance so much that you lose what makes you special and unique. I see this happen a lot with a lot of the popularity of rhinoplasty is a big one. A lot of women want to get a new nose, and it'll be because they have a bump in their nose, or it'll be because their nose is too wide, or just stupid little things that actually, I don't think they realize that these attributes and the uniqueness of their face is what gives it that character. And beauty is about character. It's about uniqueness. It's about difference. You know, we don't remember people because they were like everyone else. We remember them because they were different. So, the other thing too is I like a lot of those traits, especially like the little, crooked nose thing, or not the crooked, but just like a little bump or big nose. That can be so striking. Beauty is also, it's striking. It's not just like, I don't know how to put it, but a lot of people just want to look the same. And you really do better when you stand out and let who you are come forward. What I look like as a beautiful woman is not what like one of my friends looks like. I have friends who have very different appearances than me, but we all have our unique beauty. And that all comes through in different ways, and we have to embrace who we are. If you're a redhead with green eyes, for example, you're gonna have a very different kind of beauty than someone like me, or a blonde, or even getting into like ethnic, racial differences between women. And I know this beauty is very important to women, but I will say men can be beautiful as well. I did mention Pete Burns as an example. But specifically, I just want to speak to women overall, because beauty is something that does dominate our lives in so many ways. Those things which are special about you, which are different, are the places where your beauty resides most. So don't be afraid to be different. In many ways, it will have more of an impact on others than, if you go chasing trends. I just want to say that, beauty is not a trend. Beautiful people don't chase trends. They have style. Style is something that no one can take from you. Style is something that I don't want to say we're born with exactly, but it is something that, money can't really buy, okay? I mean, you can buy a new butt, you can buy a new face, but you can't buy style, and you can't buy taste, and you can't buy class. These are things that you have to develop in yourself as a human being. So style, just to get into style specifically, how you conduct yourself, how you adorn yourself, how you dress yourself as well, like how you put yourself together and the way you communicate through these things is a big part of beauty. For me particularly, this became important to me because in many ways I felt like I had let myself I had let these aspects of myself fall away. And they never really were gone, but they hadn't been exercised the way they should, It's the thing about style. It's, even though I've always had, a sense of style, putting myself together now is such an important ritual every day. It's that time. It's that investment of time in myself that more than anything else prepares me to be in the world. And also, it still instills me with a sense of love for myself. Every day, getting and thinking about how I'm going to put myself together from head to toe. The colors I want, the senses I want to evoke in others. And sometimes for me, Specifically, I'm a bit of a clown, so sometimes I want to be more theatrical than others. These things bring joy, I've found, in my life to others. You know, the fact that I do these things, people are even more excited to see me because, you know, for the most part, especially where I live, people don't really do this. You know, a lot of people look the same. They're on the same trend. They wear the same kind of clothes, the same kind of colors, and they don't really spend much time thinking about it. But then when you meet somebody who does, who has their own unique style and who cares about looking beautiful and having fun and being playful with it, you know, it really does brighten people's spirits just to share that. You know, it's not only does it brighten mine, but I see the impact it has on others, and that in and of itself is a great thing. You know, I'm like Elizabeth Taylor, letting somebody try on my jewelry. You know, sharing your beauty with other people helps make the world a more beautiful place. Let me just look at my notes here. I want to make sure I've touched on everything. I guess, yeah, let's just talking about spending time with ourselves. Part of cultivating beauty is just spending time. You know, it's about taking time every day to do things that are not just about essential survival. Okay? It's about taking time to refine ourselves and refine our lives. Taking time to think about the way in which the beautiful things we have are displayed, and thinking about the ways that we display ourselves. You know, this has an impact. That time and investment does pay off, and it really does help to cultivate beauty in ourselves. I have to say, like, every day, just spending the time with myself, obviously in the morning, doing the beauty ritual, and then in the evening as well. I think it's important too to come back to self and to have that time of quietness where it's like nothing but you. And often in the evenings, what I will do for a ritual is I'll draw a bath and I'll, you know, luxuriate, and I'll enjoy the heat and the warmth and the just quietness of it, that peacefulness, and that time of just being in a state of feminine receptiveness to the quiet, the water, the warmth, and the time. There's something about it that just helps to reset me. And then, of course, going to bed early and getting a good night's sleep. That lastly is, I don't know if that's part of a philosophy of beauty as much, but it is essential, okay? You will not ever feel beautiful if you are not getting enough rest. Even if I don't sleep, because sometimes I do struggle to like fall asleep. I often am somebody, it takes me a while to fall asleep generally. I have to have my mind really quiet down. So I give myself a good amount of time. And here comes the sound again. Shh, don't pay attention to that. But yeah, getting enough rest, giving ourselves enough downtime, and being gentle with ourselves is part of cultivating grace. And if you want to be beautiful, having grace is essential, okay? And you can't have grace if you're really struggling and just giving all your time away. You have to give your time to yourself and make sure that you are getting all the time you need to rest, to decompress, and to, you know, let the stress of life not drag you under. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. talking about my philosophy of beauty. And of course, I'm sure there's many things and thoughts that will come to me that, you know, I'll play this back and be like, well, I really missed out on a lot of things, but maybe there'll be a part two. What are some of your philosophies regarding beauty? What are things that you believe about it? How do you approach it? And how do you make it a practice in your life? I think really coming to it as a practice and not just like daily rituals, but having a mindset and a philosophy around it are important. And how do you see it playing out throughout your life? Like, what are you going to do to maintain your concepts of beauty throughout your life until you are like, if you are lucky enough to hit old age and to be a feeble old woman, like I mentioned with Elizabeth Taylor, how are you still going to be beautiful at that time? What are the ways in which your beauty is going to shine throughout your life? Because this is a choice we have to make, and we can make it now, or we can choose to not invest in it and to let it fall away. But I think ultimately working on our character, our spirit, and understanding that our beauty is something we've been given custody of, and that it's something we have a duty to share and to express in the world, ultimately will pay off in the long run in terms of staying beautiful and staying graceful and staying stylish. All right, I've talked long enough. I'd love to hear some of your philosophies in the comments section. If you like this video, please share it, and I will be with you next time. Bye.